Once the order is given, the difficulty of actually coordinating the attack begins to increase exponentially. For the most part, Imperial vessels travel together. Not every unit of soldiers is prepared for the reality of travelling across the turbulent sea of the Bay of Tathar. For every band of freeborn Corsair Marines, there are a dozen warriors who have never really set foot on the deck of a sailing ship before. By their nature, some ships are faster and more manoeuvrable than others. Some pull ahead, whilst others fall behind. This is not a disciplined navy, but an armada of hundreds of individual vessels. Communication is very difficult indeed, especially as the ships hail from ports across the southern coast of the Empire. Yet, the captains are experienced enough to account for these obstacles. Once night falls, lanterns are used to send messages using the Urizon Heliopticon cipher from ship to ship. Civil service observers, assigned to every Imperial vessel by the Senate several years ago, help immeasurably in this regard. For that matter, a navy could never hope to brave the waters at the heart of the bay, out of sight of land, could not hope to cross the trackless, watery wastes while maintaining any sense of cohesion. For the fleets of the Imperial captains, however, this is simply business as usual. Now the ships are moving, the first engagements begin to take place. Individual Orc pirates encounter Imperial fleets, invariably to the detriment of the Grendel. Those ships that are not destroyed or captured are forced to flee. But here the scattered nature of the Empire's strategy is in their favour. Grendel sailors are used to engaging Imperial fleets in the wide waters of the bay. They have little reason to believe there's anything more going on than the usual dance of captain against captain. If some wonder at the strange flags or the presence of Marines aboard the vessels that they do see, well, what will they report? That the Empire is taking steps to protect its ships? Then the first ships begin to reach the coast of Tathar. Fort Salan in the west and Fort Fuil in the east provide a measure of protection to the settlements that cluster around them. But beyond their immediate shadow, the Empire's ships and warriors are able to launch lightning-fast attacks against the ports and trading ships alike, with relative impunity. Some Imperial soldiers go ashore and press inland a little, arranging to rendezvous with their transport later. They draw the attention of the Orc garrisons at the twin forts inland, away from the sea, engaging in a brief campaign of guerrilla warfare against the people of the Broken Shore. They rarely stay in one place for long. They raid villages, burn supplies, loot mines, and free slaves. Those shielded by the shifting shrouds of night magic are particularly adept at striking without warning, whilst those infused with the fury of spring devastate any who dare to try and stand against them. Chaos spreads. As more and more ships reach the shore, as more and more troops disembark, the Grendel belatedly begin to realise the scale of the attack. The Empire begins to encounter stiff resistance, while the armies of the Broken Shore are elsewhere, while their navy sits complacently in the waters south of Savos. The Orc tribes of Tathar are not slow to take up arms against these unexpected invaders. They are orcs, after all, and orcs revel in violence and confrontation. A fleet of Dornish and Winterfolk ships attack the vessels that transport weirwood from the forested Isle of Balsagoth to Dubhtraig, which are burnt and scuttled. But the warships that patrol the island are able, just, to prevent any sizable landing force getting a foothold on the island itself. League privateers and freeborn corsairs throw up a blockade between the islands of Dubhtraig, plundering any orc ship that tries to reach, or flee, the Grendel city. Within a week, the Empire dominates the waters along the coast of Tathar. No Grendel ship can move between the ports along the northern Broken Shore. No doubt calls for aid are issued, but the other Salt Lords are slow to respond. Contributing to the chaos is the fact that a significant number of the ships raiding Dubhtraig are marked with summer magic, and touched by the hand of the Eternal Rhiannos, the regent of the Eternal Sea. The magic warps the skein of fate to ensure that the enchanted ships encounter obstacles they might otherwise have missed. They, and the soldiers that they carry, find themselves blown off course, trapped in mats of predatory seaweed, attacked by griffins or sea-going drakes, encountering rafts of escaped slaves with tempting stories of rich estates on secluded islands. The opportunities for excitement, wealth and disaster are impossible to avoid and difficult for the enchanted crews to ignore. It is a fine balance between disorder and strategy, between the will of the individual champions and the ultimate ambitious goal of raiding the seat of Salt Lord Suriad. Everything relies on the timing of the final raid. Strike too quickly, and insufficient strength will be brought to bear. Wait too long, and with each passing day the risk grows that the Grendel might be able to move warships or armies into position to defend Dubhtraig. With the Empire's full force finally gathered, the last ships in position, those captains who have taken the war to the Grendel on land marching overland from the east and west towards the outskirts of Dubhtraig, the final moment of the campaign begins.